So this session will go for 2 hours and has 10 amazing projects from Perth, from Greater Australia, surrounding region, from a whole range of places. So Australia, New Zealand, Indonesia, China, Hawaii, and they have been selected from over 106 different projects that have applied for a place here at Pitch New Works. Hello, come on in. And they're now ready. So 4 of them are in development, though 6 of them have already had a premiere. So many of you in the room might know about these works, and there is an opportunity at the end of their pitch if you wish to kind of step forward and say, I saw this show, this is amazing, I want to kind of do a testimonial here. Though there is only 3 minutes for a Q&A at the end, so just to say that up front. So out of those 106 applications, just to know that the 10 that have been chosen have come through from a New Works committee with extensive experience in project development and artistic curation, and between them experience in different cultures and audiences from around the world. So just that protocol again, each pair of presenters or singular presenters will only have 7 minutes, and I'm already standing. So the notion of at 7 minutes, I will walk towards them. I had one person say it was quite menacing. I think, and people have not seen it, when you get to the end, there's a hug at the end of that. So there is love in that kind of coming closer, and at those endorsements. To ask a question, we have again the microphones down either side, so almost prep yourself to get there. I'll ask some questions along the way as well. There'll be videos and kind of conversations. If you have more detailed questions, you can actually have a chat to the presenters at the ProX afterwards, but also there's other ways of connecting. There was a QR code. Oh, there it is. Grab your phones now, because this will take you and give you access to the technical and financial information for each project. So I'll just give you a second to access that QR code. So you've got that to access as we're going through. Just remember that after the session, presenters will be there at ProX to kind of take you through things. And before digging into the ProX and the lunch, do take a minute to stop by and learn about these amazing projects, either now or before then. All right. Has everyone got that QR code active in their phones? All right. We can always come back to it later. Grab a seat. All right, here we go. We start here in WA with Gai Guli, a work in development from leading Australian puppetry company Spare Parts Puppet Theatre. Spare Parts has been creating works of puppetry for over 40 years. And here they come together with Gamilaroi artist Nadia Tavo, a company of other First Nations artists to create, and a company of First Nations artists to create a uniquely immersive work for families. Gai Guli translates to ghost stories in Gamilaroi language, and the piece is staged for intimate audiences at night in a campsite-like setting, with the walls of the tent serving as the canvas for shadow puppetry and more. Through spooky storytelling brought to life, the piece is designed to impart its viewers with a sense of connection to Aboriginal culture. Thus far, the piece doesn't have a firm premiere date. They are now seeking presenting partners as well as international touring opportunities. Here to present Gai Guli, lead artist and director and co-creator Nadia Tavo, and executive director of Spare Parts Puppet Theatre, Katie Hannabury.
Thank you, Wesley, and hello, everybody. First, I'd like to say that Spare Parts Puppet Theatre is based in Walyulup, Fremantle, and we respectfully acknowledge the Whadjuk Noongar people as the traditional owners and custodians of the unceded land on which we work and on which we are all gathered today. We pay our respects to their elders, past and present, and extend our respect to all First Nations people here today. Now, I'm just giving a brief intro to Spare Parts, and Nadia is going to do all the heavy lifting in this presentation, so no pressure, Nadia. As Wesley said, Spare Parts has been around for 40 years, making work for children and family audiences. We have 40 years of touring experience, touring regionally, nationally and internationally regularly. More recently, our international touring has been for our large-scale festival and event works. Our annual program reaches more than 200,000 audience members in person each year, and we create works for a range of performance formats. So like this in-theatre show is just and then here a smaller scale in-theatre show called Beanstalk, a one-hander. We also create large-scale interactive works like String Symphony, The Last Numbat, and the interactive things like this very special show we're here to talk to you about today. So take it away, Nadia.
Yama, everybody. My name's Nadia. I'm a proud Gamilaroi woman, originally from northwestern New South Wales, and ko wajak nunga buja home now. Wandaba Gai Gawali translates to ghost stories in my mother's tongue, Gamilaroi language. And it is a bit of an unusual and unique work. It invites our audiences into an intimate space, and it's designed to be performed outside at night and replicate the atmosphere of the campsite where families come together to tell ghost stories. The audience are first led from a gathering point to the tent, where they are met by a performer who is the narrator of this show. They begin storytelling, and as they do, the visual story unfolds on the walls of the tent using shadow and object puppetry. Their audio senses are ignited by the eerie sound core that we have, that sound score supporting the stories. The work creates an atmosphere that absorbs but yet embraces its audience in story, fun, and a few spine-tinkling goosebumps. All while our 3 ghost stories and morals are told by our storyteller. Our show ends with a smoking, clearing and a yarn to send both our performers and our audiences home safely. My hope is that all of our audiences will leave knowing a little bit more about Aboriginal culture. Many of our ghost stories are universally known across Australia, with the same spirits known by many different names. Having had conversations with colleagues around the world, I've also found that they too have the same stories and the same spirits. We believe that some of your audiences may hear these stories for the first time, or they might be amazed by how similar they are to their own cultures. Traditionally, these stories were told to keep kids from harm's way and to teach them the bush knowledge they needed to survive. While that is still true, for mob who live off-country, these stories offer us really close connections to our land and our ancestors. Wandaba Gaiguli are not just superstitions for mob. They're lessons how to stay safe in bush and how to understand our country. We believe this show is for family audiences, and we think kids, everyone in between, adults will enjoy it. It would suit festivals well with its outdoor setting or any venues with an outdoor space. Consultation is essential before we do every performance in location. We want to be accepted by local elders and community, and big emphasis on location. So we don't want to be performing this like on sacred country, massacre sites, etc. So we just want to be embraced and loved and safe where we perform. We are happy to share details on any technical specifications at ProX. We're really eager to share this work with everyone, locally and internationally. Please enjoy this video.
Now remember, leave this place as you found it. Don't take anything of country, don't whistle in the dark, and never follow a voice into the bush.
Min Min lights are lights that appear out of nowhere. Mobs say that Min Min lights are the spirits of your ancestors. My dad told me that was our Nana looking after him and my uncle. It's a story that happened to my cousins when they were little. They were all out bush, camping with my aunties and uncles. And my older cousins wanted to go fishing for marron to get away from them little kids.
Kids, it's getting dark. You gotta come back now.
Do you know about the hairy man? We're taught about the hairy man when we're little.
Hairy men are little stocky monsters. They have beady red eyes. long, sharp claws and sharp teeth they use to eat people. They mimic the sound of your friends and family
Come on. Follow me.
to try and get you to follow them. And if you do follow them, you're stuck under their spell while they take you far away into the bush, never to be seen again.
This is our home, we tread softly here. We're singing for you, come hold us near. Karyaku, forever.
Fantastic. I mean, I get scared of the hairy man. I mean, I get really scared. I mean, it's a figure from our childhood, isn't it? The hairy man that will come and take you away. So you say hairy man, I go, oh. I mean, all of the cultural protocols are kind of something that I guess you've gone through as well and talked about in a lot of detail. I mean, the tent that we saw there isn't the tent. That's just a workshop showing of it all.
Yeah.
What would the tent look like? What's the audience, do you think, for the show?
We're still trying to keep it quite intimate, so we want a tent with a capacity of around 30 audience members.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it has to happen at night outdoors.
Yes, so because a lot of the work is shadow puppetry, we do need darkness. So in an outdoor venue, it would be nighttime, or an indoor venue. It can be any time.
So it could happen indoors?
Yeah, it could
in the
happen
dark.
indoors, but the absolute preference is outdoors.
And the audience is family-based, so I mean, I love that little girl who's...
Yeah.
Was she an actor?
She's not, but she's our dear producer's child.
We have a question or a statement here?
A question. Hi, I'm from Mora. This would really suit our community. We have the fastest growing Aboriginal community in WA. We also have lots of farming, camping, bush kids, so they would love this. So we would love to present this outdoors in that setting. So you were saying 30 people that was one of my questions.
Yes.
30 people in a tent, and then how long does that run, and then how many would you do? Would you do it one per night?
We would do two per night, and the show is running at around 45 minutes.
And so then would you just do the one night? What's the kind of community immersion that you would have?
Yeah, so I mean, we're still in works at the moment, but we're hoping that when we're touring, it would work alongside a community workshop format. So we're thinking about doing a lot of engagement, especially with community kids in storytelling and sharing their own stories, with a little bit of skills workshop with puppetry.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you. Great questions. The idea too that what we've got is a work for families at night. So how late can you go, I guess, is the bigger question. You'd have to work on all of that.
Seasonal.
Yeah, so that you go, what's bedtime for people along the way?
Yeah. I think because it's a bit scary as well, it should work for slightly older kids as well, so if there's a later one. But the main thing is waiting for darkness, so depending where we are in the world and what time of year it is, will impact
Sweden
how
and winter,
early
do you
we
reckon?
can start. Yeah.
Get 3 shows in.
Yeah.
Daytime shows, nighttime shows.
Yeah.
Marvellous. And that sense of, what's the timeline for that development? So that will happen very soon, I imagine.
Yeah, so we're aiming for early 2025 to be ready to present. But if you would like it, we can work harder and get it done sooner.
All right, so this is a checkbook question, I guess. I mean, you can talk to about fees and things. Is the work fully funded up through its development? Where do we need to go?
It's not really, but Spare Parts is funding the project at this point in time. So we really are just seeking presentations going forward.
Marvellous, thank you. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Nadia.
Thank you.
So next up, we stay still here in Australia and we go to Victoria for Soliloquy, an interdisciplinary music and dance piece from recorder, virtuoso, composer, curator and beautiful human being, Genevieve Lacey. Genevieve has created a number of interdisciplinary and installation-style musical experiences for concert halls, public art settings, films and so much more. Soliloquy centres around a solo performance of Tenemann's Fantasias. but it invites a chorus of untrained participants on stage to perform simple movements with the musician and a contemporary dancer. The piece engages deep listening between the participants, performers, and the audience, and challenges the tradition of the solo musical recital. Soliloquy had its premiere at the Melbourne Recital Centre in November of 2018, but as we all know, the pandemic slowed a lot of the kind of touring potential of works. Now this piece is back, and it's ready for touring, following a performance at the Sydney Festival in January just gone. Mm-hmm. So please welcome to the stage the maker, creator, lead artist of Soliloquy, Genevieve Lacey.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Wesley, and thank you, everyone. I'm delighted to be here with you all, and definitely you should book that last show we just saw. I too wanted to acknowledge being on Whadjuk Noongar country this morning and to pay my deepest respect to elders past, present and emerging, those exemplary First Nations leaders in whose footsteps we all follow. Soliloquy is a communal, participatory experience, a work where tradition meets contemporary life and private meditative practices are amplified and shared with a group of willing strangers. It feels fitting to be presenting these ideas here on the continent with the oldest living tradition on the planet, where people have been creating and enacting ceremonies for more millennia than most of us can imagine. So I'll give you a taste of the work now with the video, please. So as you can see, thank you. Thank you. As you can see, Soliloquy redefines the solo recital. So a traditional recital is an extravagant display of virtuosity. One performer alone in a spotlight, flamboyantly demonstrating their prowess. But in stark contrast to this, Soliloquy is meditative and invites 40 untrained volunteer participants to join a musician and a dancer on stage. The music is subtle and quietly mesmerising. It's a series of miniatures played by a single player on a humble, unassuming instrument. The intent is to create a state of gentle mindfulness for the audience by working with an exquisite and deliberately restricted palette. The movement from the professional dancer is similarly elegant and understated, and the chorus of volunteer participants embedded in the work become a living part of the music, creating hypnotic textures that enhance the listening experience. They democratise the stage and make a bridge between the audience and the music. Collective action defines and creates this performance. The work only comes alive thanks to the presence, the generosity and the trust of those beautiful volunteers. Just as a musical score only comes alive in the hands of a player and in the ears of you, the listeners. Central to this work is the participation of 40 local people, 4 early career dancers and 36 untrained volunteers, sourced by the local presenter. With no musical, no movement background required, Soliloquy welcomes all people, any age upwards of 16. The participants meet and rehearse only on the afternoon of the show, with me and the show's director and dancer. And presenters can put out a call to individuals. We can work with choirs or other existing groups, whatever will suit your community. Soliloquy provides presenters with an exciting opportunity to invite communities and community members of all kinds into an intimate experience with art and artists. And you can see what a strongly positive participant experience it is from these responses here. The other good news is that Soliloquy is simple to tour. It makes use of the lighting rig and the rostra in the venue. No set, no freight. It can be bumped in, rehearsed, performed and bumped out all on one day. We're a travelling party of 5. And here's an indicative schedule. And just while you're looking at this, I would also say that we would so welcome the chance to stay longer in your community if you had scope and desire for that. But the show is designed not assuming that you have large budgets, so we can come in and out quite swiftly too if that suits you better. And to the next slide, please. So as Wesley just mentioned, in January 2024, Soliloquy so happily awoke after its pandemic slumber to present at Sydney Festival with thanks to Olivia Ansell and her team, where it was named by the ABC, who's our National Broadcasting Commission, as one of the festival's top 5 experiences. So now we're ready to go after the heartbreak of all those cancellations, and we're looking forward to presentation opportunities across all territories. Soliloquy is ideal for presenters wanting to develop engagement strategies. I know it's good, isn't it? For diverse communities and those, hi.
Hello.
With strong music or dance and education and access priorities. It involves participants in a more active and democratic way than normal traditional performer relationships. It attracts different audiences. You can see me this afternoon. I'll be at one of those stands. I'd love to talk to you. Here's how you find Martel, who produces the work. Thanks so much.
How marvellous.
Thank
so
you.
Gorgeous. Well, in the video, we saw this incredible wall, but that's the wall of the Melbourne Recital Centre, isn't it?
Yeah, the beautiful
it's
recital
beautiful
centre.
wall, but that's not going to obviously tour with the work.
It doesn't, but there are many beautiful halls in the world, and we look forward to
So
visiting them.
in many ways, exposing the hall would be one of those great things to do.
Exactly.
Just a show of hands, those who saw this work at either Sydney Festival or in 2018. Anyone? Oh, here's what I prepared earlier. What would you like to say? Introduce yourself.
Paul Kilday, I'm Artistic Director of Musica Viva Australia. I had the great privilege of seeing the show first time round. It was mesmerising. I'm really interested, for someone who has to think about the standard solo recital every day of my life and what it is and what it can be, I'm interested in the citizen artist aspect of your project, how it's affected you as an artist, and then also how the impact on the volunteers in this particular project.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. So I guess for me, playing an unusual instrument, I've spent my life trying to create connections between audience members and between presenters. And I found that often that conversation happens not just through music alone, but through actually being literally in collaboration with all sorts of people. So I suppose this work arises out of a long practice of trying to create bridges between art making and the need for art in the world and community members who might not have had the privilege that I had of a long life playing music. So it's about making connections.
And I saw too that the performance, there's a lot of eyeline work going on, that they were obviously copying or following the leadership of the lead dancer.
Yeah, they do. And the instructions are passed on through a whisper series, basically.
Okay.
So in between each piece, basically, we'll pass the rumour along. So follow Steph, or lie down and listen, or walk slowly around the seating bank. So it's incredibly simple, and it really is designed for people who have no movement background. So for them to get close to artists making work and to really sit inside sound, I think, is something that's really special for people.
Genevieve, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks.
It's so lovely to hear about the project. Now to Indonesia for a work in development from Garan Workshop and Cineria Films and the Esplanade Company Limited. In Samsara, a cine concert by an incredible filmmaker and maker, Garan Nugroho, a live orchestra accompanies a silent black and white film that highlights many traditional Balinese forms, including traditional dance, gamelan, and mask work. Nugroho is one of Indonesia's best-known filmmakers, and the piece features a number of luminary artists from Asia-Pacific region. Samsara is being produced in partnership with the Esplanade Company Limited in Singapore, and the piece is scheduled to premiere at the Esplanade Concert Hall next Friday, May 10th. I don't know what you're doing here. But how amazing. What confidence you have in the work to be here now. To talk about Samsara and this impending opening of a fantastic work, a producer at the Esplanade, Hani, and also producer of Cineria Films, Gita Farah. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. So a very good morning to everyone here. We are pleased to share more about Samsara, a cine concert by Garan Nugroho. Inspired by the black and white German silent films of the 1920s, as well as wayang kulit, which is a traditional shadow puppetry, Samsara is a compelling new work that pushes the frontiers of Southeast Asian artistic expression. In 2017, Art Centre Melbourne, Melbourne Symphony Orchestra, and the Esplanade commissioned Garan's internationally acclaimed Setan Jawa, an evocative silent film accompanied by live Javanese gamelan music and a Western classical orchestra. And so what you're seeing now is a presentation of Setan Jawa in Singapore's concert hall to just give you a sense of what Samsara will be like. A pioneer of new Indonesian cinema, Garan works across film and live performances, negotiating the complexities of his country and culture through diverse filmmaking styles and artistic disciplines that span theatre, dance, installation, painting, as well as writing. In 2019, Garan's film Memories of My Body swept 8 Citra Awards, which is Indonesia's most prominent film award, and was selected as Indonesia's submission for the 2020 Oscars. Samsara is what Garan terms as a cine concert, with contemporary nuances in the form of live electronic music instead of a Western orchestra. It features the richness of traditional Balinese performance elements such as gamelan orchestra, traditional dance, mask, and wayang wong, which is a classic form of mask dance and theatre in Bali, layered with a digital electronic music soundscape. The music is composed by Balinese gamelan master and ethnomusicologist Wayan Sudirana and Kasimin from the electronic music duo Gaber Modus Operandi, who also contributed songs to Björk's latest album. Thus filmed entirely in Bali, Samsara is a timeless work with a universal storyline rooted in Indonesian mysticism about the insatiable hunger to be what one is not and the boundaries one is prepared to breach to realize this. Starring 2 of Asia-Pacific luminaires of the stage and screen, Indonesian-Australian contemporary ballet dancer Juliet Burnett, formerly from the Australian Ballet, and Indonesian film star Aryo Bayu. Samsara tells the story of a man from an impoverished family who is rejected by the wealthy parents of the woman he loves. He strikes a bargain with the Monkey King, performing a dark ritual to gain wealth and in the process curses his wife and child into suffering. Now we would like to invite you to have a look at the video trailer for Samsara. Thank you very much. So today we are looking for international touring opportunities for Samsara. Samsara is an 85-minute cinematic experience with live Balinese gamelan ensemble and an electronic music. The performance is suitable for venues for a large screen in a space that fits 22 performers. It's flexible to be staged in both indoor and outdoor spaces. The touring company of 28, traveling from Bali and Jakarta, will include 22 performers and 6 creatives and tech. So under the bold visionary eye of Gary Nugroho and the exceptional work of a powerhouse creative team, Samsara promises to be a bold and memorable cinematic experience, seamlessly bringing together film, live music performance, and traditions of Indonesia's past and present. With Samsara, Esplanade is very proud and committed to supporting works that represent Southeast Asia and inspire artists from elsewhere to look towards the region as a source of inspiration. Samsara premieres next week as part of the Malay Festival of Arts Pesta Raya, a festival that celebrates the culture, arts, and traditions from the Malay archipelago. And we hope that you will be able to join us next week to see this magical work in person. Once again, we are looking for an international touring opportunity, and the work is ready to tour right after next week. Thank you.
Fabulous. It's a rather big team, 28 on the road, or maybe not, you know. But the idea of going, is there any opportunity to pick up local performers, or is it best to keep them all together in that way?
Yeah, okay, thank you. Well, the 28 performers is actually 22 and 6 team is actually what we prepared for the grand majestic experience of the gamelan Bali, and also with electronic music duo. But we also can do much lesser, and we also can do also the exchange of the music, local musicians with in collaboration with the group. So yeah, we can.
So we're very flexible. Yeah, we are flexible to look into bringing it down to a slightly smaller number and collaborate with local musicians, gamelan players especially, to to add on to the experience.
Like Satanjawa had,
yes,
like
that's
working
right.
with local orchestras or groups and things like that as well.
Yeah, so now it's for the gamelan.
Yes, God, and it's opening next week.
Yes.
So, those people, did anyone see Satanjawa? It was amazing, yes. A number of people in the room. It was an incredible experience, both kind of orally, but also visually, and just that amazing kind of connection. There's a lot of cultural references in the work, Balinese cultural references. I'm hoping there'd be workshops or conversations with diaspora communities as well. Are you imagining those kind of things?
Yes, I mean, we can actually arrange for it to have a few elements that we can add on to enhance the experience, so that we can have workshops, we can have post-show talks, we can have even screenings with Garin's previous films, and then to have him curate a series of films to kind of like have like a dialogue in terms of his works, and also we can even consider having Gabe Modus Operandi having a show, a DJ set, which is what we're doing in Singapore as well.
So in many ways, you could actually carve up the composite parts for master classes or separate performances.
Yes,
or
even the gamelan master, he can actually do extra workshops.
Yes, of course. Yes, great. Are there any questions in the house about this? Is anyone planning on going to see the work next week? Oh, yes, people from Singapore are seeing it. Great, one, marvelous. Thank you, Gaurav. It sounds amazing, sounds absolutely fantastic. So how long has the work been in development for, and how's the funding been working for this?
Yeah. Well, actually, we started last year, early last year, and it's sort of like rather quick creative process and also financing process, because we also have some cooperation from Indonesia, apart from Esplanade, that partnered with us. So, but I think it's very unique experience, not only cinematic but also for music-wise. It's because we try to bring cinema also in the PER form, which is silent movie with music live. And it's sort of like a thin line between performing and also like the richness of the visuals also.
Yes, yes. And I imagine the freight is relatively limited. The screen can be...
Yeah, well, actually we also have we're planning to have Balinese gamelan set in some parts of the world. I think we have in Australia we have the gamelan set in Sydney, in Perth, and Melbourne as well. So we're really hoping to have opportunity for those cities.
Honey?
Yeah, as Gita said, that freight, if the gamelan set is already available here in the country, we can just ship it into whichever area, and we do not have to ship it from Bali.
What I'm hearing is that it's flexible. The work will find itself next week, and then the negotiations of how you might want to receive it. Just quickly though, in the last 10 seconds, where did Sutton Jawa get to tour before?
It's actually quite long journey from 2017 until 2030 is still touring.
Yes.
Like last year we still toured to Paris, and we tour Melbourne, London, Berlin, Holland Fest also.
Japan,
and Australia, of course, Asia Topa, Melbourne.
Fantastic.
And,
Thank you very much for that. Please can you thank Gita and Hani.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. For our next pitch, we return to Australia, this time here in Perth, for a recently premiered work produced by Performing Lines WA, Equations of a Falling Body. It's a dance work created by award-winning choreographer Lara Boynes that responds to how the saturation of global events beyond our control can affect and at times overwhelm us. During the performance of the piece, the cast of some of the Western Australia's most virtuosic physical performers are fed real-time directions through earpieces by Boynes herself, creating a live landscape of unpredictability. Equations of a Falling Body premiered at the Perth Festival in 2023 and is now seeking both touring and presentation opportunities nationally and internationally. To talk a little bit about Equations of a Falling Body, the choreographer and director Lara Boynes and producer at Performing Lines, Jen Lays.
Kaya, I'm Jen, here with Laura, the creator of Equations of a Falling Body, which premiered at Perth Festival 2023 and is available for touring.
Equations of a Falling Body is a new dance and visual theatre work about the unpredictability of our times and how global events impact our lives on a macro and micro scale. The work creates on-stage conundrums and then stretches their resonance, often with humorous results. It is an experimental meeting of my interests in dance, visual art, installation and object play, revealing themes of risk, loss, resilience and hope. Here's a video from the premiere season. The cast features acclaimed Australian performers Ella Rose True, Timothy Green and James O'Hara, with an original composition from Felicity Groom and Tristan Parr. I live direct the work on stage using real-time choreographic processes to portray how external events intervene and impact human relationships. The following video reveals these mechanics and shifting performance states. A mechanism that we use is the performers are all wearing in-ear pieces, and I am feeding the performers choreography, technical instructions. It causes them to feel a sense of risk through the work, which is how we, as humans, I believe, have moved through the last 3 or so years. Okay, so are we ready to go? Could you just please put the tape deck on the grass, James?
Laura's giving us instructions that are sometimes quite abstract, sometimes quite really directional and clear, like go pick up that, go move this, let's move on to this scene.
Resilience is looked at in a few ways during the work. There's the basic physical resilience of a body moving through weather events, climate change. There's the resilience required to support another human through a great life event. It comes up in a few ways. Some of them are abstract, some of them are more literal. But essentially, throughout the work, there's a sense of needing to hold on to each other and try and hold on to the world around them that's shifting. This immediacy results in a genuine, poignant, and at times hilarious clarity in the performers' responses, revealing an alertness and vulnerability as they navigate the unknown. Scenes range from uncensored, raw moments of realism to mesmerising, reflective, and virtuosic cinematic sequences. Whilst the format remains consistent, each performance is uniquely nuanced. Hence, audience experience the work like a limited daily edition.
The work was commissioned by Perth Festival and staged here in the Studio Underground. We're seeking national and international touring and presentation opportunities from 2025. The work's adaptable scale can be programmed to reimagine known theatre venues or unveil alternative spaces. Performing Lines will provide producing support, including seeking funds towards the remount and touring costs for confirmed engagements. Equations of a Falling Body uses technology and the everyday to take audiences on a profound and timely journey, encouraging our capacity for beauty, hope and resilience. So please come and talk to us at ProX. We'd love to hear your thoughts and learn more about your audience and venue configurations.
Thank you. Now, in the writer, you talk about the potential for local participation as well. I mean,
yeah.
Can you just talk about that?
Well, we'd love to connect with communities that we're going to. I'd love to give kind of practice sharing opportunities where people can come to the studio and experience the work from the inside. They can try their in-ear pieces. They can experience my beautiful tones in their ears, giving them an array of instructions. We've worked this in the studio. We had a series of understudies or an alternative cast, and it was really remarkable to see how different the work was with different humans.
This is a question I have. How much improvisation is involved in the responses to your work, to your instruction?
It's a highly crafted work, but the instructions range from very structured improvisation, headlines from the Daily News for them to respond to openly, and then very unknown provocations from me to keep them really on the edge of their seats throughout the performance.
So there's like a set framework to the work, but within that there's sort of like...
And one of the dancers said, and now let's move on to the next section, or things like that also occur, so there's also timings and things.
I guide them very gently, I hold them through the work. So.
As a theatre director, I want to do this.
Yes. I'm not a control freak.
Maybe I am. Is there anyone who you'd suggest interested presenters talk to for further people who'd seen the work. Hands up those people who'd seen this work during Perth Festival. So obviously some people here in WA. Please avail yourself of the conversations you can have about deeper understanding of the work. The responses some of the reviews up there seem to be great. And it was downstairs. I love that it opened up, but you're saying you can respond to any space.
It can. It's designed to be flexible. We used multiple spaces downstairs because we had the ability with the Perth Festival, the premiere, to do that, but we have already made multiple designs for much smaller and larger venues.
And should we dob in a couple of people to talk to?
Yeah. Yes, if Rachel Whitworth from
Rachel?
Perth Festival might be okay to say a few
words. You've got 10
words.
seconds each.
And Lucy Guerin, she's here too.
Hi, I'm Rachel from Perth Festival. We saw this work in development and went on to commission the work. It's absolutely exquisite. You can see the visuals there.
Marvellous. Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you. Come and talk to me. Bye.
Lucy Guerin.
Yes, I saw this work as well, and I think that the responsiveness of the dancers, the way that they're in the present all of the time, and that the work shifts between these beautiful theatrical moving images and a kind of sense of playful everyday.
Lovely, thank you. Could you please thank Laura and Jen? Thank you so much. And now we head to Hawaii for Lila'u, a work in development from Kanaka Maori, a native Hawaiian composer, librettist, Leilahua Lanzalotti. Please excuse me, I think I've got that right. And Zonzo Impact. Lanzalotti was a 2022 finalist for the Pulitzer Prize for Music. Thank you. And for this project, she teams up with Ethan Hurd, the co-founder of Heartbeat Opera and artistic director at Signature Theatre, as well as Grammy Award-winning vocal band Roomful of Teeth. Lila'u is a contemporary opera that tells the story of the last queen of Hawaii, who was imprisoned in 1895 for her alleged knowledge of an attempt to take back the kingdom of Hawaii. The libretto is drawn from her diary entries, her biography, and musical compositions, and the piece is now in its research and workshop phase, with the official premiere still to be confirmed. Please welcome the composer and librettist Leilahua Lanzalotti.
Aloha e nā ao makua o keia aina mai ka lā hiki a ka lā a kau e mālama o kou o ka po'e nyunga. Greetings to the ancestors and protectors from sunrise to sunset. We ask them to take care of the Yunga people of this land and their ancestors past, present, and future. My name is Leilahua Lanzalotti, and I am the Kanaka Maoli composer and librettist of the new opera Lila'u, for which I'm here today seeking commissioning partners. My music is characterized by expansive explorations of timbre and indigenous contemporaneity, integrating community engagement and partnerships into the heart of projects. By world building through multimedia installation works and non-traditional concert experiences and musical interventions, I uplift Native stories through radical indigenous contemporaneity. My work inspires action around water sovereignty, language sovereignty, land stewardship, and respect, uplifting others and encouraging their strengths, giving them hope to continue. Last year, I was honored to be a Native Arts and Cultures Foundation Shift Transformative Change and Indigenous Arts Awardee in partnership with Te Ao Mana for this project, Lili'u. Let me set the stage. The death of a monarch, a coup d'etat, a queen locked away in the upstairs corner room of a palace, songs published in the newspaper with no apparent author filled with double meanings, death threats. Set in 1895, when Queen Liliuokalani was imprisoned for the better part of a year in Iolani Palace for her alleged knowledge of an attempt to take back the Kingdom of Hawaii, Lili'u tells the story of the Queen's life at a time of great upheaval. Denied visitors, except for one female companion who was spying on her, Liliuokalani depended on secret messages and news that would come to her as wrapping for flowers. The opera libretto is sourced completely from Liliuokalani's own words in both Olelo Hawaii or Hawaiian and English. From her diary entries, excerpts from her biography, and lyrics from her own songs written during the imprisonment. Liliuokalani was the last ruler of the Kingdom of Hawaii, as well as a talented musician and composer. Only a year after Liliuokalani was imprisoned, Olelo Hawaii was banned as a language of instruction, a law not fully repealed until 1986. Nonetheless, Liliuokalani spent the rest of her life advocating for her people, both internationally and at home. Liliuokalani's advocacy for the people of Hawaii is her greatest legacy and is seen through her voice as a composer. I now honor this legacy by telling her story in the same manner as she herself chose to tell it, through music. Lili'u is a story about resilience. Liliuokalani's story is a unique look at a powerful leader walking between worlds and cultures at an important time in history. Told as a new opera engaging with contemporary artists, Lili'u shows that Indigenous people are still here, that our language is vibrant and living as it engages with modern discourse and expression. Scored for 9 singers, 1 soloist plus Roomful of Teeth, 7 instrumentalists, and featuring 5 dancers from the Indigenous Polynesian group Te Ao Mana, choreographed by Anthony Ayu, Lili'u reveals Liliuokalani's legacy for the revival of Hawaiian music and culture. With gorgeous staging and movement direction by Ethan Hurd and dramatic costumes by Kanaka Maoli designer Manaola Yap, whose clothing was featured in the video and I have been wearing all week. Liliuokalani's spark of hope in the darkness is the source of inspiration for the work. Additionally, Sozo Impact is the producing partner. As an integral part of the presentation of the opera, free hula language and cultural workshops will be offered in partnership with Te Ao Mana and the international Olelo Hawaii learning sensation, E Ho'opili Mai, or Kahanuola Solitario, creating the opportunity to come together as a community in the week leading up to the performance to create space to come together through language and culture to celebrate the diaspora. For presenting partners of Aotearoa, Pacific Nations, and Australia, I welcome a conversation about engaging local Aboriginal leaders to integrate Indigenous language learning from the home culture as a way of connecting the work on the ground to further amplify the mission of the Opera Project to support Indigenous revitalization through contemporary art. Basic technical needs include lights, projection, DPA mics for each performer, and speakers. All performers are on stage, and an orchestra pit is not necessary. We are at an exciting stage of the project, having already completely fundraised to cover research, development, and workshop costs at a series of residencies in New York, Santa Fe, and Haiku. These initial creative team residencies and workshops have helped us to clarify the sound world of the opera and develop relationships. Now we are looking to secure commissioning partners to complete the creation of the work and present it. With strong experience as a curator and producer in creating large-scale multi-year projects, I'm ready to have a conversation about moving to the next stage of this opera project.
Fabulous. How marvelous. And I know timely too, the whole kind of the movement in Hawaii for acknowledgement of, let's call it some form of separation from the United States, and the kind of all of that kind of conversation is very big. So just to say that all of the development, the workshopping is funded, but you're still now looking for presentation partners.
Yes, and specifically commissioning partners.
Commissioning partners, yes. And I imagine there's a lot of, it's in Kanaka Māori, the language. So translation appears, or is it something, how do we get access to the words or the knowledge?
So the languages used are both Hawaiian and English,
yes,
because the Queen was multilingual.
Yes.
And so when possible, I'm using her own translations for the subtitles, and when not, I'm translating some of the songs to kind of show also how I'm interpreting what she's saying, which is really beautiful.
And access to that kind of cultural information, it sounds like you were saying the workshops or the development beforehand is possible as well.
That's really important to have that integration. So it's kind of having a language teacher and having dancers and having these cultural classes, that the opera at the end of the week is kind of the party for everybody to come together.
And there are people who wish to talk to it.
Yeah, me again. I love your music because Musica Viva has just commissioned a piece for you for the young viola player, Katie Yap. There's plenty of examples of it on YouTube. There's a wonderful new CD, which includes the Pulitzer Prize shortlisted piece. I just want to know what it's scored for, if it is all acoustic, and the wonderful extended techniques that you had in the example there, if that's a real feature of your thinking.
Yes, that's an example of some of the style of writing. And right now, I'm looking at seven instrumentalists of flute, guitar, percussion, and string quartet, partially to be able to potentially source local musicians to work with a preformed quartet or an ensemble that could rehearse more easily together.
Fantastic, thank you.
Aloha, y'all. My name is Christopher. I'm here as a choreographer, but have an extensive presenting background. And I just wanted to lift up a cultural context, which is that in what we call the United States, there's so few contemporary Indigenous artists, and Lelehua is really at the leading edge of that. So it's really meaningful to all of us that come from Turtle Island and are carrying that when we look to our cousins here at Aotearoa and here in Australia, and just really meaningful support for this work. There's a lot of us coming behind it, and wanted to lift up that slightly different context. It's really stellar what she is doing.
Oh, marvelous. I think pack him in your bag.
Yeah.
Take him wherever you need to go. Lelehua, thank you very much. A beautiful project, and all strength to you for the next part of the work as well. Please thank...
Mahalo nui loa. Thank you so much, everyone.
Please thank Lelehua. All right. God, we're halfway through. So I just caught my breath then. So we're just going to take a little time. I just want to talk a little bit about some of the projects that have happened in the past that have gone on to do things from this Pitch New Works sessions. So from Mid-Year Congress in Manchester last year, there was a work called Autofiction by a collective Maluba and Syrian playwright Madga Al-Haji. And the project was renamed The Long Shadow of Alu Bruna, following the successful premiere in Leipzig in past November, and was performed in December and January in the Theatre de la Rue. And also Factory International in Manchester then came on board as a co-producer, offering a residency and a performance run. So these things kind of get around, and then continuing for a rehearsal, for a tour, in 2025. Mehek, which is a work by Akesh Odridra Company, had a triumphant world premiere in the NYU Abu Dhabi in February. A tour across the UK is now planned for this spring, and a broader international touring is now in the works, including a 4-city tour in India in October and November of 2024. 12 Last Songs by Quarantine will tour in Reykjavik Arts Festival this June, followed by an appearance at Tramway in Glasgow. And finally, the piece will come here to Perth for the Perth Festival. In 2025. Okay, thank you. For those who are here and looking around, shh, it's a secret. From those who came for those of you who are in 2023 at the New York Congress, The Wasteland by Amsterdam Sinfonietta and the Ish Dance Company is preparing its tour of Asia for early 25. That includes a run in Hong Kong at the Hong Kong Arts Festival, as well as stops in Shanghai and Singapore. And the piece has open dates, so it's asking for collaborators for its tour in February. So interested presenters in the region should get involved in that as well. If you're in the Hong Kong, Southeast Asia, even Australian region, think about reaching out to see if there's some February dates. And lastly, Waves by Cloudgate Dance Theatre in Taiwan premiered in Taipei in the second half of 2023 and scheduled to appear at the Biennale Dance Festival in Venice this July. So you can see that these pitch sessions actually work. Get out there, get connected, because you can actually create a work. And at this point, I'd just like to also do a big thank you for one of the sponsors of this Pitch New Works session, Shula Shook. And thanks, Jim, I know you're around the place. Thank you for your support to help these pitch sessions get to fruition and get out there. That's Shula Shook, who's working in theatre design and lighting and structural work as well. And you can see Jim, he's around. Is Jim, are you in the house? There, right down there. There we go. And colleagues. Right. Okay, you right for the second half? Do you need to stand up, shake, do anything? Stand up for a quick second. Turn around, meet the person who's behind you. If you can stand up. All right. Perfect. Now, sit down. All right, thank you very much. Now, we return to this edition of Pitch New Works and Australia for Grabri. Thank you very much. Thank you. Stop being social. How dare you? All right. So now, back to Australia for Grabri, a new work by Joel Bray Dance, produced in partnership with Black Dance. Now, Black Dance is a producing hub for First Nations dance, but also an advocate for a lot of First Nations performing arts around the country. And they have been working for over a decade in this particular area. Now, Joel Bray is a Wiradjuri dance maker whose works explore Indigenous cultural heritage and queer sexuality. Grabri shares the experience of a corroboree, a Wiradjuri dance ritual, through interactive and immersive staging that ultimately invites the audience to join in the dancing. Grabri premiered at Arts House Melbourne in December of 2022. The project is now seeking partners for an Australian tour in 2025-26 and presenters for an international tour with opportunities in 26-27. Here to present Grabri, the executive producer of Joel Bray Dance, Veronica Bonzon. Oh, see, I knew I'd get that. I was there, thank you very much. I got all the others, thank you. And executive producer and the CEO of Black Dance, Mirinda Donnelly.
Yedu Marang Mijigalang Baladu Diramo Wiradjuri Yina. My name is Mirinda Donnelly and I'm the co-CEO and executive producer of Black Dance and the co-presenter of Garabari.
Hi, I'm Veronica Bolson, executive producer and general manager of Joel Bray Dance. Joel Bray is one of Australia's fastest rising stars. That's not us, that's a reviewer's quote. Joel makes visually arresting and startling contemporary work. It ranges from intimate encounters with small audiences in unorthodox spaces through to larger scale immersive work that mixes his Indigenous heritage with the pulsing beats of contemporary clubs. His work has been presented at most of Australia's major arts festivals, and he makes his European debut at Tanz Messe in Dusseldorf in August with a full-length showing of his solo work, Daddy.
Drawn from traditional dance practice and ceremony, corroboree, Garabari, is a joyous, celebratory, participatory dance work premiered in 2022 at the Arts House Melbourne and co-presented by Chunky Move. And here's Joel now to introduce the work. He can't be here because he has the world premiere of Homo Pentecostus next week at the Malthouse in Melbourne. Play video.
Yuradul Marang. My name's Joel Bray and I'm a proud Wiradjuri man from central New South Wales. So that's about 4 hours west from Sydney. Thank you so much for this opportunity to yarn with you about my work, Garabari. I'm really sorry I can't be there, and I'm particularly gutted to have missed the opportunity to catch up with so many First Nations mob. But sending you Yindyamara, respect from me, my elders and my ancestors, to you and your elders and ancestors. Garabari is a word, it's a Wiradjuri word, that has been anglicised into corroboree. And corroboree is when we gather together for ceremony, to sing, to dance, to share stories with each other, and also to pass on law. And this contemporary Garabari is a civic ritual, part performance, part gathering, and part dance party. Echoing the way clans would come in from all different directions, pre-show, the audience gather in different locations around the venue and wander in through different entrances, encountering each other for the first time, wandering amongst the dancers and exploring the space together. Beautiful projections filmed on country, together with bellowing subwoofers, carve the three-dimensional space into a contemporary ceremonial ground of sound and light. The cast of 5 Indigenous and non-Indigenous dancers then shift up a gear, and their dancing bodies, the light and the sound entangle. The choreographic action subtly escalates and loops, and without noticing, the audience find themselves caught up in the swirl. They re-encounter the repeated dances from ever-shifting perspectives, in a metaphor for the way, as we return over and over again to the rituals in our lives, we learn and we peel back their deeper hidden meanings. An elevated platform, complete with comfy chairs and cushions around a fake fire, offers a panoramic overview of all the action in what we call the elder's perspective, just like the way our elders witness a ceremony and understand the many layered meanings of it. This space also offers a safe space for our audience members who prefer to watch rather than participate. Everyone in this ceremony is welcome and celebrated. Garabari was conceived over many years in creative collaboration with my elders and the community up on Wiradjuri country. It comes from a creation story gifted to me by the elders, the making of the Murrumbidgee River, a feminist story of our ancestral heroine, Balana, who saved humanity through her bravery and defiance of gender norms. Up on country, the projection artworks were painted by elders, kids and local blackfella artists together. And the central song was composed, sung and recorded in the Wiradjuri language. Garabari is for everyone, the whole family. Kids love the show and follow the dancers around in awe. And the work is accessible for folk with disabilities. Making participatory work is a specialty of mine. I take great pride in the participation feeling natural, collective, and always, always consensual. Through this, the dancers and the audience together create a spontaneous community. Over 3 acts, the space comes alive with virtuosic dance as the story of the making of the Murrumbidgee River unfolds. Throughout, audiences learn to dance the kangaroo, the emu, and the crane together. And eventually, as the driving beats pick up, we all find ourselves using these dance steps on a deadly dance floor, a visceral experience for audiences of what corroboree has always been. Just as our ancient languages are being resurrected, so there is an extraordinary renaissance of Indigenous ceremony happening right now. In ceremony, there is no such thing as an audience. Even witnessing is a powerful form of participation. And so this Garabari is a democratic, participatory space, bringing people together in acts of civic ritual, allowing us to exercise that innate ability of humans to congregate, to share our bodies and our stories with each other. I make this work in the firm belief that any social change starts with us being able to gather.
Marvellous.
Garabari has a touring party of 12 for larger venues and 9 for smaller venues. a 2-day get-in with pre-rig, and it's 80 minutes long with no interval. It's scalable, so from small and intimate through to really large and even outdoors. There's a few projectors required, and as an all-in dance party, we have a minimum footprint need of 13 by 26. We just need a space where we can raise the stage for those who wish to watch and not participate.
Obviously, we're looking for presenters, national and international, for a US International 2026 Onwards tour and next year national tour.
Yeah, we're building a Playing Australia for June. So
That's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you want to be a part of it, get your skates on, and we're here until Saturday. Thank you.
Thanks.
Marvellous. Now, those who know Joel's work will know that kind of interaction and the kind of the party kind of environment. Oh, and I imagine Virginia's going to talk about it right now. Come on down.
Hi, Virginia Lovett, Director of Performing Arts at the University of Melbourne. I was lucky enough to see the show, and I think I danced with Joel's father during it, which was amazing. I am interested in how other spaces could be transformed, whether they could be done on a cross-arch stage with different exits and entrances, because it is a beautiful coming together of people, and in that, at that end of, remembering a dance party, because my knees are giving up, but probably was with you at a dance party, Wesley, in the 80s. I don't know, but yes. But I'd be interested to hear you talk about that.
Yep. So we did this work on the film in was a traditional kind of cross-arch staged venue with a big flat floor. So the work was on the flat floor and the elders' perspective was on the stage. But we can also create that sort of scenario in just large spaces, large flat floor spaces. As you can see, the audience come in and really are part of the performance and part of the staging from the get-go. So there's areas to sit down, but mostly it's like a very open space is required.
Are we making a version for regional touring? So our production team, the incredible team at Joel Bray Dance, are working on smaller models that can go in a cross-arch black box.
Yeah. Outdoors?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Joel actually said that he could do 800 outdoors.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And we've premiered the work in Melbourne, but we haven't taken it to Wagga Wagga, which is part of Joel's country and where the elders that we engage with over many years are from. So we are really going to go back there next year and have a big party outdoors.
Marvellous. We have a quick question, 20 seconds.
It's not a question.
Oh.
Just to say, I'm Christy Eyre, the Executive Director of Chunky Move. We were one of the lead commissioning partners on this project. Chunky Move invested $120,000 in Joel over a 2-year period as choreographer in residence, and the result of this project also saw us partner with Black Dance to fundraise an additional $150,000. That's what it takes to have self-determined Indigenous-led projects in this country. And just to say hats off to Marinda and the phenomenal team at Black Dance for working with non-Indigenous companies like Chunky Move to enable First Nations artists to do not only this work, but the work of Gary Lang this week and Thomas E.S. Kelly. What a phenomenal privilege it is to be here and buy this work. Do yourself a favour.
Thank you very much. Can you please thank Marinda and Veronica? Thank you very much. And now we go to China for The Hotel, a new work from Chinese contemporary dance ensemble Li Xing Studio. Now imagine, as artists are travelling around, how the hotel becomes another form of home, how it houses you and makes you feel comfortable. The hotel draws on this familiar environment of the hotel and delves into the roles as a transitory space where different characters seek privacy and refuge. The hotel had a successful premiere in 2018 at the National Centre for Performing Arts in Beijing. However, touring plans were put on hold because of the pandemic, and especially those kind of lockdowns of national borders. International agent Offa Zaks recently saw the work and is now eager to share it with the international community. Here to present The Hotel, our international agent of The Hotel and CEO of Oz Productions, Offa Zaks, and international executive producer of Li Xing Studios, Xin Wang. Over to you.
Thank you. Good morning, or kaya, or how Chinese I learned, ni hao.
Ni hao.
The Hotel is a moving and deeply personal dance show. born from the dreams and dedication of a group of incredibly talented solo dancers. Together, we've embarked on an exciting journey infusing the performances with a mix of unique Chinese artistry, groundbreaking concepts, and the state-of-the-art staged technology. It's our hope that these elements come together to touch the hearts of everyone who watches. In creating this show, we've woven together both the old and the new, combining the beauty of theater and cinema with powerful dance that moves you. We've been privileged to collaborate with a team of world-class professionals from around the globe. The Japanese set designer Yohei Taneda, whose spectacular work you might recognize from Tarantino's films like Kill Bill and The Hateful Eight. Tom Visser, our lighting wizard from Holland, longtime collaborator of Killian, lights up the stage in ways that truly bring our story to life. And the soul-stirring music by Liu Tong, known for his collaboration with the legendary director Zhang Yimou. It's a synergy of efforts that we're deeply proud of. We can't wait to share the hotel with you. We believe in the power of this performance to inspire, entertain, and move audiences worldwide. Video, please.
Thank you. The hotel marks a significant milestone in Li Xin's journey. It's his debut creation as a choreographer, blending his vision into his own language of dance. This piece is also the first chapter in his Urban Space series, seeking to craft narratives in familiar settings with unique perspectives. Here is Li Xin speaking of his creative journey. Video, please.
我是来自中国的编舞家李欣。因为我正在新作品巡演的路上，所以很开心可以用这样的方式向大家来介绍我的首部舞蹈剧场作品《大饭店》。《大饭店》首演于2018年的北京国家大剧院，是我自己城市空间系列的首部作品。舞蹈剧场《大饭店》构建的是一座桥梁，是一座讨论的桥梁，是一座沟通的桥梁。它不会给到一个明确的正与错的观念性的答复，但是我觉得它有了一个可以探讨和想象的空间以后，我觉得所有的事情开始变得柔软，所有的事情开始变得有沟通的价值。那舞蹈剧场大饭店在去年2023年 我们在中国进行了第100场的庆典演出。那么我也特别开心，在疫情结束以后的今年，我们可以开始向更多的国际上的观众和朋友们介绍我们的舞蹈剧场大饭店，因为它有极具特色的东方魅力，它也有国际视野，我觉得它会为我们的舞台注入一股新的力量。谢谢。
Thank you. Li Xin weaves a storyline that isn't immediately obvious. He plants intricate clues and intertwined stories, inviting the audience to explore the layers hidden within the hotel. It is this intricate merging of stories and the creation of a distinctive space that lends the performance its enigmatic and captivating charm. At its core, the careful orchestration of the hotel space with elements like water serves as a profound expression of Li Xin's thematic thinkings. It is an artistic endeavor that invites the audience into a world where every detail is part of a larger story waiting to be discovered. The hotel is not just a dance performance. It is an invitation to embark on a journey of discovery, to see beyond the surface and dive into the depth of Li Xin's artistic vision.
We're looking for international presenters and festivals to present the hotel during the next 2 seasons. Having performed more than 100 shows in China, we realized that besides your usual dance audience, this show appeals to young audiences. It will attract the diverse communities, including the Chinese, that seek contact with its tradition while looking for something different, a contemporary inspiration for the younger generations. This enables the presenter to develop a new dance and theater audience. Well, thank you very much for ISPA and for all of you for your attention. We'll be at booth 53.
Well done, well done.
Exactly 7 minutes.
Exactly 7 minutes. Well done. Just to say too, I mean, I heard almost a gasp when people saw the water kind of jetting onto the stage. I saw a little lip that's there, but obviously the water coming on and coming off, you've worked that out. You've done it over 100 times, so...
Well, I feel relieved when I saw the video of the equation of falling parts, because we're not the only one who with water on stage. So.
And I imagine it needs quite a large theatre. I couldn't quite work out whether it flies in or out or not when the back walls disappear or they roll away.
No, there's a magic point because we have like a diamond-shaped stage edge at the most part of the performance. The water will only be pooling into the pool at the last part of the performance, which is about 5 minutes. And it will become the magic point of the whole production. And the sound of pooling water inside to the pool will be like introduce the audience into a totally different world of this production and lets you to break up your thinkings, your imaginations.
And it's right at the end of the show that the water... Because I know what that means to me, needing to, when you hear water falling.
Also the dancers... Also the dancers are like the architects of the space. They move all the time, the scenery, the elements, the furnitures, they create exit and entrances. So sometimes the dancer goes out on the stage right, and then suddenly he appears under a bed or in a window or in a closet, and it has a very cinematographic quality, the show.
I can hear that like the characters have interactions and there's narrative without necessarily being caught by narrative.
Yeah, it's like a puzzle of space. The space is also a very important part of the performance.
Yes, and it's part of a trilogy, and I saw the poster of all three. So do all three pieces exist now, or...?
Actually, we just did our second piece for this series, which is The Station, and we have the premiere in the end of 2022, and we will have our 50th performance this year in October.
And do all three pieces happen in the same footprint, I guess? Could you actually do all three?
Well, the concept of it for the urban space, we are looking for to find stories in the common space that everyone can access to it. Then you can come into this kind of feeling and fit in your own story inside the space. So gorgeous. That's the whole meaning of this series.
And it'd be great to get it out. I mean, it feels like there's a narrative here too of how the pandemic really held us all in, and how do we kind of go on from that. it's quite a large group of touring party as well, so bigger spaces are necessary, I imagine.
Well,
too.
in this theater it will look really great. And we're 19 people, you know, it usually takes 2 days to set in and to do this thing, because as you saw, it's pretty complicated, very elaborated. But this team is just amazing how they do it. Like a machine, they do it so well, and everything is thought of, and everything is solved, so you won't have a drop of water on your stage.
Well, we'll hold you to that. Excellent. Thank you very much, Chinwang and Officer Zax. All right, here we go. So now we go to New Zealand for He Huia Kei Manawa, a new piece from dance and design duo Hislop and Pierce. Bianca Hislop is an expert in contemporary Māori movement, and Rowan Pierce is an award-winning creator of performance design and live art. He Huia Kei Manawa responds to the resurfacing and reclaiming and honouring of Te Aroha Māori, responds to the indigenous language of Aotearoa, New Zealand, that was on the brink of extinction. The work incorporates innovative spatial design and virtual technologies to tell sometimes painful but affirming stories of cultural reclamation. It premiered at the Auckland Arts Festival in March of 2023 and is now looking for presenting partners. Bianca and Rowan are unable to join us today, but Marama Lloyd, the Executive Director of Atamira Dance Company, is here, and a long-term collaborator of Bianca's, to help present the work and pass it on to you.
Tēnā koe, Wesley. Kei te mana tangata, kei te mana whenua, e mihi ana au ki a koutou, I runga te kaupapa o te wā. Kaya, kia ora, I'm Marama. I'm a descendant of the Far North tribes of Ngāti Kahu and Te Raroa, back home in Aotearoa, New Zealand. As Wesley said, this pitch has been prepared by independent artists Bianca Hislop and Rowan Pierce, who are unable to be here today, but I'm very, very happy to deliver this on their behalf. And we acknowledge the Whadjuk Noongar people, the traditional custodians of the lands and waterways of Bolu, and pay respect to their elders past and present. He Huia Kai Manawa is a visually potent performance artwork that responds to the loss and revitalisation through second language learning of Te Reo Māori, the indigenous language of Aotearoa, New Zealand. I can testify that this important and visceral work is one of exceptional craft. It had a great impact on audiences at its highly successful premiere at Auckland Arts Festival in 2023 and subsequently in Wellington at Kia Mau Festival. He Huia Kai Manawa is tour ready and looking for international presentation opportunities. Before hearing from the artists themselves, I have a quote from New Zealand Dance Festival Trust Board member Olivia Tauma, who said, "Everyone should experience the masterful performances and storytelling of this special dance work. You will be blown away by the exceptional stage design and use of technology, but what really hits into your core are the personal stories of people reclaiming their language." Interwoven with hauntingly emotive cross-cultural contemporary dance, He Huia Kai Manawa truly encapsulates the tensions of the world's Māori sit in every day in Aotearoa. Play video.
Au we, I kite atu au he taonga, he pauaka paunamu, he manu kairoto, he kōwhai ngutu kāka, he whiore kuratea, I nā te rerehua, I noho karukaru tōna ahua, nā wai ho, he aha I pērā ai. Mā wai e tiaki I a koe, anō.
Bianca Hislop. I'm a Māori director, performer and choreographer of dance from Aotearoa, New Zealand.
Kia ora, I'm Rowan Pearce, an artist and performance designer from Aotearoa, New Zealand of European descent.
My grandmother was from a generation that was encouraged to distance themselves from their cultural practices and language and instead adopt Western ideologies. As a director, creator and performer, I feel a great sense of urgency for this loss of knowledge, for these memories not passed on, and for languages left unspoken. This urgency is where my drive and passion for art making comes from, to create works that are personal acts of reclamation.
As a designer, my practice is grounded in creating truly amplified emotional experience, the type of experience that can put the audience on the back foot. For me, it's this type of visceral and elevated experience that can unify us in the space of performance. As a company, our work has a specific aim to uplift and amplify cultural perspectives that are immediate and important to Aotearoa through exceptional performance experience.
Together with an incredible team, Rowan and I created He Huia Kai Manawa. He Huia Kai Manawa can be translated to something that is treasured to the highest degree, which in this context is Te Reo Māori, the indigenous language of this land, Aotearoa. Creating the work stemmed from our own commitment to learning in the language. Through beginning this process, we heard so many familiar stories of loss and reclamation, and from there the work transformed into a platform for communicating these shared stories and some of the shared physical experiences that come with the journey towards language revitalisation.
It made sense that this work would be multi-generational. We worked closely with cultural advisor and performer for the work, Tui Mātira Ranapiri Ransfield, who's a kaumātua elder in her communities here. Tui is also a revered traditional Māori kapahaka performer. We worked with second language Māori contemporary dance artists and 3 incredible children who are from a new generation of fluent speakers. This generation is a direct result of the revitalisation efforts in Aotearoa, and they stand so strongly as a shining example of our future. He Huia Kai Manawa is a challenging, confronting and immediate work that can be felt and reflected on globally. The work takes a futurist approach to its design, and in a world in which more and more cultures are being forced to closely coexist, we believe stories here from Aotearoa can and do resonate widely. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.
Māori ora.
That says it all, obviously. So Bianca and Rowan are seeking to develop meaningful and collaborative connections with presenters from venues and festivals interested in promoting and empowering Indigenous voices and sharing those with their audiences. And the work will also appeal to presenters seeking works with highly refined visual and scenic design elements. Although not operatic in scale, He Huia Kai Manawa has specific spatial and technical requirements outlined in their detailed technical rider.
Marvellous. Thank you so much for doing that job for Bianca as
it.
well. It's fantastic. How many people in the touring party, just off?
There's 8 performers, the elder, 4 dancers and 3 tamariki or children, and there's a supporting cast, a crew of 5, so 13.
And those kids, I'm just thinking about as it tours, they'll tour with the show, or?
Yeah, they do. They're very connected. They're our future. They're first language native speakers, and they tour with a minder.
Yes, great. And in terms of the length of the show, I'm sure this is all in the technical work.
It's a 1 hour work.
And oh, sorry, you talk.
Oh, just proscenium arch, or I've seen it in flat floor in a black box with 3 sides of seating. Yeah.
So it's very flexible. It can
somewhat flexible.
Would it fit in this space?
Absolutely.
That'll be. Did anyone see the work at all? Did you want to talk to it at all? Oh, here's one we prepared earlier.
Yamagara Lilishira, co-founder and artistic director of Muglam Performing Arts. Watching that again just reminded me of seeing it in person in Aotearoa Kiamo last year in Ponaki, Wellington, and it moves your well-being not just physically, but emotionally, intellectually, and spiritually. Especially those little ones, those little birralees at the end. They really fill your heart with hope and for our languages. And thank you for sharing it. And please buy this work. It's got to get around the world.
I mean, Lily, I mean, I think in this country we're talking a lot about cultural reclamation, language, all those kind of things. How would it fit in Australia, do you think?
In Australia, it will be a hoot for our people as well as our allies and as well as those who don't know us really well. Those ones who didn't vote yes.
Okay.
Okay?
I'm all for it.
Thank you, sister.
How has the work gone down when it's been performed?
Yeah, I mean, language is such a passionate subject, and we've lost so many. So, and of course, with language comes your culture, so it touches everyone deeply.
And that language is the way you see the world. It's so extraordinary.
Yeah, it contains everything.
Oh, big thank you. Thank you for taking up
Thank you, Wesley.
to look at this work as well.
Thank you, ISPA, to all the team and to all the artists, presenters and speakers, and a big shout out also to Eva Malele for her.
Thank you very much. All right, here we go. So, our penultimate pitch. We return to Western Australia for Night Night, a work in development by Perth-based theatre company The Last Great Hunt. Night Night draws on a plethora of performance techniques, including projection, puppetry, video game engines, live cameras, and theatrical wizardry, to tell a story of parallel universes, isolation, and the thin veil between worlds that are real and ones in our imagination. Based here in Perth, the company has toured extensively. I think I've seen at least, maybe half a dozen of your shows, which have always been full of imagination and amazing skill. Actually, all the shows have amazing skill and all shows are amazing. And has an extensive history of touring over the last 12 years. Night Night is scheduled to premiere here in Perth next year, but shh, don't tell everyone. There might be a secret, and is seeking touring and presenting partners. Here to present Night Night is co-creators and core artists of The Last Great Hunt, Ariel Gray and Tim Watts.
Thanks very much. Hello.
Thank you. We would like to start by acknowledging that we live and create and are standing right now on the lands of the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation and pay our deep respects to elders past and present and acknowledge that to any First Nations people here today. We'd also like to acknowledge the strong history of culture and storytelling that exists on this land, and we are lucky to work here. So thank you.
Hi, we are theatre makers, and we, as Wesley said, we're two of our 5 core artists that make up The Last Great Hunt.
Based here in Boorloo, Perth, we are an internationally renowned artist-led theatre company that creates ambitious and exceptional theatrical experiences.
And also, as Wesley said, we have been touring our shows around the world for over a decade, and we've got a little snapshot here for you. Play the video, please.
Thank you. We have a booth at ProX later today, and we'd love to have a chat to you about this show or all of our tour-ready shows, of which we have many, as Wesley said.
Yes, but today we are here to talk to you about a brand new show that we've been making called Night Night. So please, Sophia, please play the second video. We're going to talk over this video. So Night Night is currently in development and sort of a secret, but we're spilling the secret now. We're premiering the work at Perth Festival in February 2025. And so today we are looking for touring partners and presenters.
So Night Night tells the story of life, death, and penguin madness. Pip is a reclusive Antarctic penguin researcher with a secret deadly brain illness who must team up with a mysterious glowing spirit to save both their souls. Highly visual and playfully cinematic, Night Night uses performance, cameras, puppets and animation to create a piece of live cine theatre.
And so what you're looking at right now is actually footage from our most recent development in January this year. The show is created live in front of an audience, and we're making all the effects in real time in our studio off to the side, that is showing up on the main screen. And so as you can see, there's a heavy emphasis on playful DIY techniques that audiences can recognise and be part of this live film.
This is a form that we've been developing developing and working with for over 10 years. In 2014, we made Falling Through Clouds. In 2019, we made Lenore, The Rain. In 2020, we made Bad Baby Jean. And in 2021, we made Whistleblower. Through all that time, we have learnt and continue to discover how to balance beautiful visuals explored through screens and cameras, but with heart and an active live connection to the audience, so that the digital trickery doesn't get in the way of a human experience, but enhances it.
So Night Night, we use this visual medium to tell the story of penguin researcher Pip, a highly logical recluse who clings to reality. She finds herself having to confront that reality when a deadly brain illness and disappearing penguins allow her to glimpse alternate dimensions beyond our own.
We're taking inspiration from the cold, barren, and eerily magical Antarctica. We explore life, death, and everything afterwards, before, and in between, through the camera lens of Pip.
And so the performers on stage, Ariel and myself, we operate the whole show. All the lights, sound, cameras, puppets, everything. We've got a little remote hidden around stage. And we use one camera on wheels, 2 projectors, 2 screens, one for the movie and the other for the backgrounds. We also use an LED monitor, dozens of 2D props, 2D puppets, and actually a special hand puppet I brought today that's made from a glowing LED wire, just to show you.
We call him Sticky.
Yeah.
Sticky is a glowing LED stick figure puppet and an unstoppable and innocent spirit who catches reclusive Pip off guard in the most wonderful way, slowly melting her cold exterior. Sticky's magical way of thinking forces Pip to confront her own scientific logic and her connection to others, and ultimately her reality and her mortality.
So all of this story is told visually with very minimal dialogue. And for the text that we use, it's actually an invented language called Solset. And all the dialogue will be surtitled in the dominant language of whatever the country is that we're performing in.
Even though we are exploring a real place, Antarctica, it's really important to us for the show to feel otherworldly, rooted in but removed from reality. And the result is a Wes Anderson-inspired live foreign film set in an invented Antarctic research station with an invented culture and invented language.
So we've been making visual yet highly tourable work for over 15 years. Our shows Alvin Sputnik, It's Dark Outside, New Owner, and Bruce, which I'm actually performing in tonight over at the Blue Room if you want to come. They've travelled all over the world, hundreds of shows, over 25 countries, thousands and thousands of people, on every continent except, ironically, Antarctica.
Night Night will be highly tourable, as all of our works are. The entire show has been engineered and designed to pack down into 4 suitcases that can travel with us or be freighted separately. And while a mid-size black box is ideal for presentation, we are also working on the set being flexible in scale so that we can suit different spaces. We bring everything with us, so all we need is floor space, mains power, and a good blackout. We've been working with an incredible creative team to bring Night Night to life. They were up on the screen a second ago, so big shout out to all our collaborators as well.
And look, we're happy to talk about all this business stuff later, but the highlights are ages 15 plus, it goes for about an hour, no interval, puppetry/cine theatre is the genre, touring party of 3 people. It's tourable suitable for non-English speaking countries, and travels with 4 bags, 32 kilos each, which we can take on the train or the plane or the car with us wherever we go, or they can be freighted ahead of time. And ready for touring next year.
From February 2025 onwards. You can visit us today in our ProX booth. Will be manned by myself and our fabulous producer, Georgia Landra-Ord. So come say hi and chat to us about Night Night. We'd love to talk about it.
Fantastic. Well done. Where's the audience sitting in relation to this work? So they're just sitting as observers? Because I saw screens at right angles. Are they watching like this, or how?
Yeah, so we have our main screen.
Like that?
Yeah.
So this is the main screen that is showing like the live film we're making. There's a studio like just off to the side at that kind of angle.
And the audience are here.
Yeah, watching that. So it's super important to us for the audience to be able to see how all the magic is being made. And in fact, a lot of the time we favour techniques that have a quality to them which people can appreciate how it's being made live. Yeah.
It's very analog in that way.
Yeah.
Is it cheating to bring a prop on stage?
Yes.
I can see Anna waiting in the wings.
Hi. So I'm Anna. I'm the Artistic Director of Perth Festival. So thrilled that this work is premiering at Perth Festival next February. I just wanted to kind of answer the questions you might have in your head, like, are these guys as nice as they seem? Yes, they are. Is this show as good as it looks? It's better. I saw the creative development and I committed to programming the work immediately after. The thing that I really wanted to share here is it's extraordinary in its form, and you will leave full of wonder and full of inspiration, but there's a deep, deep intelligence and emotion on multiple levels for multiple audiences. So they said 15 plus, but it will be a work that will resonate with so many different people for so many different reasons.
Thanks, Anna.
Thank you, Anna. That's amazing.
Very nice.
I know the history of your work is often about wonder and about this kind of imagination. Just to confirm, the language you're using is a made-up language.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in a previous show that we made, Lenore the Rain, we created a culture and a language, and when we decided to set it on an Antarctic research station, we wanted to be able to go to magical places, so we didn't want to be beholden to the reality of the nitty-gritty of daily life. So we decided we'd make a research station based on the culture and language that we'd already created for another show.
And just to confirm, 4 bags of 32 kilos each.
Well, that's what a lot of our other shows are,
Yeah.
and so we're really familiar with engineering our sets to be tourable, and so a lot of the time when we're making a show, we measuring things and engineering it all out. So yeah, that's what we believe this will fit into.
So it sounds like you could tour several shows at once. You could do a residency somewhere.
Yeah, we'd love
lots
to do
of
that.
shows. We can do them all.
Yeah.
You said there were 2 performers on stage, but one image there showed another 2 people in suits and things.
Yeah, that's me. We have a few bits and bobs where we'll either use live footage that's looped, or we have some pre-recorded footage of me as different characters in the background.
Yeah, so they're digital versions of Tim, to answer your question.
Yeah.
Excellent. Can you please thank Ariel and Tim? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, and finally, here we are, the last pitch of the session. We're coming back to Australia again, but this time to Sydney, with Three Marys, a new chamber opera from Green Room Music and composer Andre Greenwell and librettist Christine Evans. Leaning into themes of exile, fractured families and migration, Three Marys draws from a French medieval legend and tells the intergenerational story of 3 women in exile. A chorus of teenagers represents the spirits of children drowned at sea over millennia, and the fully original score and libretto includes English, French, and Arabic. The piece premiered at the Sydney Opera House in May of 2023 for its Unwrapped program by leading contemporary artists. It's now available for touring in a variety of sizes and formats. Here to talk about Three Marys, there's Artistic Director of Green Room Music and the composer Andre Greenwell, and Professor of Performing Arts at Georgetown University and librettist Christine Evans.
Thank you, Wesley. We are honoured to share this presentation on the lands of the Whadjuk Noongar people and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. And we acknowledge First Nations people who are with us here today. My name is Andre Greenwell. I'm Artistic Director of Green Room Music, the platform from which I create music theatre, chamber opera and multidisciplinary works. I'm the composer of Three Marys.
And I'm Christine Evans, the librettist for Three Marys. I write plays, novels, and I'm a professor at Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. Second slide.
Three Marys premiered in the Unwrapped program of Australia's leading contemporary artists, presented by Sydney Opera House in May 2023. The premiere production was directed by Angela Chaplin. Three Marys is inspired by a French medieval legend about the biblical women who were banished from the Middle East and journeyed by boat to the south of France. Through a contemporary operatic form, this work provides voice and agency to women who are silent in the biblical and visual representations.
The opera follows an intergenerational trio of women, Maria, her daughter-in-law Magdalena, and daughter of Magdalena, Sarah Marie, on their forced journey across the ocean. Woven through this principal trio's tale are a teen chorus who represent the voices of children drowned over millennia, making a similar journey. Our fourth principle is Mazoug, a character inspired by a contemporary Tunisian fisherman who cares for and buries the bodies of today's migrants that wash up on his shores after bad storms. Echoing the story's border crossings, the teenage chorus sing mostly in English with elements of French and Arabic. Like Maria, Magdalena and Sarah Marie, their voices make central the disposable and forgotten victims of conflict, women and children. Stripped to the raw elements of exile and the ocean, the women's voices echo from antiquity to today as people from all backgrounds still undertake desperate journeys across oceans in search of refuge.
Three Marys is a fully original and secular new work. It melds myth, imagination, and multilingual elements with an inventive score to tell an epic story of exile, survival, and hope. Play video, please.
The gamblers, the bullies, the gold cursed, the fighters, the secret lovers lovers, the painters, the poets, the golfers, the
I know you, your tricks, your storms, your whispers that almost form words, the power of your tides. Boats, bodies, broken down trucks, a single shoe, the carcass of a whale.
Sarah will catch you, but you slip through our own hands. A fish who drowns in the air. Don't be afraid. We
Green Room Music is seeking international and regional presentations and also tour representation for this work. Three Marys can be presented as the fully staged opera or as a concert version with stunning lighting design. Three Marys offers a great opportunity to present new opera with meaningful community participation. Central to any production is an established youth or teenage choir from your local region that would undertake rehearsal in lead-up. Three Marys is made for a cast of 4 with an 8-piece ensemble of Western, classical, Arabic and electronic instruments. Unless as part of a tour schedule, most of the musicians would come from the host city, as would the choir. The featured Arabic vocalist could come from your community or travel as part of our touring party from Australia. We look forward to discussing this work with you.
Hello, Wesley.
Hello. Thank you. That's so gorgeous. I remember seeing a workshop showing of it at Balmain Town Hall and being absolutely moved. And even then, I felt it, you know, I got a bit kind of overwhelmed by it in many ways. The whole resonance is so powerful, and beautiful music and beautiful lyrics to tell that story. Did anyone get to see it in Sydney at all? Did anyone want to talk to it at all? Thanks, Viv. Oh no, Richard. Oh, it's a fight. Who's first? Viv's before you. Go, Viv.
Just to say very quickly, I was lucky enough to see it at the Opera House. It's a really ambitious, very moving and very beautiful work. So congrats, Andre.
Thank you
and
so
what
much,
venue was
Viv.
it at the Opera House? What venue?
Oh, it was in the Playhouse.
Ah, so that's a 300-something seat
it's
venue.
It's close to 400.
400, thank you. Richard.
I'm Richard Evans from the Australian Chamber Orchestra. I was fortunate enough to be at the premiere too. It was an amazing work directed by one of my old bosses, Angela Chaplin. It was a great night in the theatre. And Andre, one of the key aspects to the work was the casting of some of the singers and also the chorus. And I'd be interested to hear about your approach to the casting. And
Yes, thanks for the question. The cast actually came from across Australia, Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria. It was very important to me to seek a culturally diverse cast for this work. In exploring this, this myth that had Christian basis, like we really wanted it to be secular, and it was very useful to have people of diverse cultural heritage today because of this, experience of migrants coming to Australia and our checkered history to that, which is such a strong resonating theme within the project. The choir came from the New South Wales Arts Unit. They're an organisation that have a number of choirs, but were very suitable for this project. We didn't seek out perhaps the most finessed kind of choir in Sydney for this work. We wanted to have kids that came from all over Greater Sydney, which was a really beautiful part of the work, and we had fantastic responses from them as to participating.
The design elements I saw, like a reflective floor, there was a door representing, I guess, the raft of some sort, and this collection of garbage bags and netting.
Oh, yes. Yes, there is a sculpture that represents detritus of the ocean that really forces energy upwards into the space. We were actually in quite a small theatre, so we're really seeking ways to, create expansiveness in that venue with so many people on stage, including the conductor was 30 with a choir of 16, a featured Arabic vocalist and the ensemble of 8.
Fantastic. We have run out of time. Please take the time to have a chat to Andre and Christine afterwards as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think you'll agree, 10 amazing projects showing a diversity of voices and approaches and whimsy as well as deep moving kind of emotional states. That's the close of the mid-year Perth edition of ISPA's Pitch New Works. Before we go, just a couple of things to say. A big thank you for the selection committee that had to look through 106 of these projects. So Cindy Huang, who's the founder and president of the Impulse Creatives and Music Programmer at Inthra Theatre, Joachim Volkenberg, who's the programming director of music and music theatre at the Holland Festival, Mi Yen Wang, who's the producing director at the Perelman Performing Arts Centre, Fiona Winning, who is in fact the outgoing or has already gone head of programming at Sydney Opera House, and Hanako Yamaguchi, who's the independent arts consultant and former director of music programming at Lincoln Centre and Performing Arts. Give them a round of applause. A big thank you to the crew who have been just so amazing putting all of this together. Thank you so much. A big thank you too to the PAC Australia and also from ISPA, Mara Driscoll and David Bale, the CEO of ISPA there, and the pitch producer Mara, just for all of their hard work doing all that. If you missed it, here it is again. If you want to pick up that program of all the details of the projects that you've seen here, I want to give another big shout out to Shula Shuk, who are the fantastic sponsors of this event. Check them out on the websites. They have an office here in Australia looking at lighting, structures, theatres, everything. Yes. Helping Wesley, all those kind of things happens as well. So a big, big thank you to all of those presenters. And how amazingly on time were they? That was just amazing. And can we just say too that you can see them all at the ProX event that we're going to go to in a second, and Kerry will come out and talk to us about that. But also this idea of ask the question, even if you're not the presenter for that work, you knowing about it might mean that you can be a fantastic advocate to another friend or family member or someone in your circle of influence. Go talk to people about these projects, because that's how they get out and about. So I'm going to welcome on Kerry Glasscock to give us through these things. But I'm Wesley Enoch, and a big thank you for sitting through these amazing pictures. Thank you very much.